Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand a new video. Arsenal have communicated their intention to bid one last more time for Declan Rice to West Ham. And West Ham now know that the incoming bid from Arsenal is going to be the last one. It's going to be a take it or leave it. Arsenal have also confirmed that they will bid for Julian Timber to Ajax. So Ajax are waiting for that bid from Arsenal. Arsenal have also confirmed to Southampton that they will be bidding for Romeo Lavia this summer. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. We are talking 3 bids from Arsenal this early morning. Confirmations that the bids will be going in. It means that Mikel Arteta still wants to get his signings early enough in this window. It means that although it is 10 days in the window and we have already had one signing down, Arsenal are not resting. Arsenal are not giving up. We want to get our signings as quickly as possible. Yesterday we talked about David Ornstein highlighting that Moises Caicedo is a concrete option to Declan Rice. And today, according to Fabrizio Romano, we're hearing that Arsenal have told West Ham it's going to be a take it or leave it final bid. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Do you think Arsenal should walk away from the Declan Rice saga if West Ham are still undecided, if West Ham are still waiting for all these other clubs, Man United, Chelsea, that are still sorting out their finances? Should we move quicker, go to sign Moises Caicedo, maybe sign Lavia, Caicedo, Timber, and then get out of the transfer window? Let me know in the comment box below. Now, Fabrizio Romano this morning has tweeted about the situation on Declan Rice, and he said at the moment Arsenal have confirmed to West Ham that their plan is to submit one more bid for Declan Rice after 75 plus 15 million rejected. Understand Manchester City are also preparing a bid of their own, plus plans have not changed, and he says the structure of the deal, stroke payment terms are going to be very, very key for West Ham in this deal. That is according to Fabrizio Romano. Arsenal have communicated to West Ham intention is to bid one more last time, one more final bid, and after that it is going to be walk away. We will walk away. And West Ham and West Ham fans here, they're really going to fall into a big frenzy because one, Arsenal really want Declan Rice, and I think Declan Rice is such a global merchandise. He's such a global product at the moment. I'm sorry to call him that, but he's wanted by each and every club at the moment that has the money and financial masses and resources to actually pay for his services. I don't think Mauricio Pochettino would say no to Declan Rice, although Chelsea are trying to better their financial fair play record, but I don't think they would actually turn down the opportunity to sign Declan Rice if that deal came to their table for around 70 or 75 million pounds in terms of overall package. They would take him. I think Manchester United, if they could add a player and sign and maybe add maybe 70, maybe 65 million, they would also love to sign Declan Rice as well. So he's a global merchandise, he's a global project. And everyone would love to sign him. But Arsenal have told West Ham, we are coming in with one last bid. You either take it or you leave it. Now, this means a lot of things to me. And when I saw it in the morning, after David Ornstein confirming that Arsenal have a team working on other targets, it actually communicated a lot in my brain. One, we might be looking at Arsenal accepting defeat to Manchester City, and it is only natural. I don't think it is embarrassing ever in our lives in the last 10 years, in the last decade, to lose a transfer target to a club like Manchester City. The magnitude of their resources is almost infinite. The magnitude of their resources at the moment is unending. They have an ending stream of resources. Their financial strength is absolutely very, very strong. So if Manchester City come in and they can pay 100 million for Rice, and they can pay that money within 2 installments, and they can also add achievable add-ons, they will get the player. And maybe Arsenal know this, and maybe Edu has communicated to Mikel Arteta, and he's told him, look, I would have loved to get you Declan Rice, but these are the terms and conditions that, one, we stay financially healthy as a club, but then we can also sign Declan Rice. And Mikel has told him, Why don't we try one more last time? Now, I think this is a lot of trust on the player side. Arsenal have a lot of trust on the work we've done on the player side, convincing him, promising him this and that, captaincy, high wages, and maybe a title somewhere. I mean, if he goes to Manchester City, he's guaranteed titles. If he signs for Arsenal, he's part of that romantic gesture that will ever be if Arsenal win the Premier League again. Just imagine the group of players that will win the Premier League since 2004. Actually, it could be 20 years if Arsenal win the Premier League this season. And that means that we will have won it in 2024, right? It means that Arsenal will have ended their 2-decade drought of without winning the Premier League. So it's quite very, very fascinating. I think we've decided to go in for one last bid in order to show Declan Rice that this is how much we want you, this is how much we appreciate your services, but this is also how much we can go. So it's going to be about the player. Does he decide to go to Manchester City, which for me should be the obvious option? Or does he decide to sign for Arsenal, which is the decision that many people will question, but it might pay off in later. I don't think during his time, Arsenal will win more Premier League titles than Manchester City. I don't think. I think during his maybe 10 years at Arsenal could win like 2 Premier League titles, and Manchester City could win like 4 or 5. During that period of time, in the next 10 years. I think Manchester City will also win more Champions League finals and trophies still. So if he looks at it in this way, I want to go to Manchester City, win trophies, and be, go down in history as one of the greatest Premier League midfielders. He has to go to Manchester City. There's no question about that. If he wants to go into the records as one of the, biggest winners in the Premier League, winning maybe 3 Champions League, finals in the next 3 years, the destination definitely is Manchester City, unless otherwise. But if he wants to be part of this romantic history of North London, this rivalry of North London and everything, and the beauty that comes with it, then he will decide Arsenal. But West Ham are in a very, very difficult position here. And I said it when Manchester City said they are unwilling to meet the 100 million mark on Declan Rice. And I said now that if you're West Ham, you're such in a very difficult place, because they thought that the introduction of Manchester City in this race literally means that they will be able to earn a lot more money than they are asking for. Now, it turns out the team that they thought is going to be paying over the odds is actually not going to be paying over the odds. And they also thought that the introduction of Manchester City will propel Arsenal into paying huge amounts of money that we are not prepared to pay. It seems that has also not worked. So they have 1 or 2 options for me, West Ham here. One is to accept any of the bids that works in their favor and convince Rice to sign for either of the clubs that they will have agreed with, or they can reduce their asking price, reduce their demands, and structure a deal that is more realistic, that is not selfish, more realistic, and can be achieved. Now, I agree with West Ham that the add-ons that are being proposed by Arsenal are really ridiculous, embarrassing. They have been termed as disgusting. I understand. And that is also coming from the fact that West Ham are standing in an unrealistic zone. You want 100 million to be paid in 2 installments, to be paid in 2 years. It's unrealistic. And that's why Arsenal have gone unrealistic versus unrealistic. But if West Ham go, okay, we will settle for 80 million, that 80 million should be paid within 3 years, and only 5 million should come in add-ons. I think Arsenal will be much more pleased with such a deal. But David Sullivan is that kind of guy that is not even sure what he really wants. What he's doing, he's all about trying to milk the most amount of money out of this deal. Waiting for Manchester United, waiting for Manchester City to arrive. They have arrived. Now we are hearing they want to wait for Manchester United. It's ridiculous, because he might actually end up shooting himself in the foot. But then I've also heard that Manchester City are interested in signing Achraf Hakimi. That could change the dynamics of this deal. If Manchester City decide that it is better to spend much of their money on Josko Gvardiol and Achraf Hakimi, that changes the dynamics of this game, because I don't think Manchester City will spend about 300 million. Yes, they do have it, but I don't think financially it is healthy for them to go 300 million boom in this window. So if they go for Hakimi and they go for Gvardiol, that is close to 180 million euros. They have signed Kovacic, that is 210 million euros. They will be cautious about spending another 100 million on one player. So, West Ham now are in a very tough space. If Arsenal walk away, they're back to square one. They have one competitor competing with himself for Declan Rice. If Manchester City walk away, Arsenal remain the only team in the race. And I really back this decision from Edu and Mikel Arteta. If the scumbags are not going to give us the player, just walk away. I mean, there must be options. We've talked about Moises Caicedo yesterday by David Ornstein. So there must be options. And because there are options on the table, I'm glad and I'm happy to walk away. I'm literally very, very happy to walk away from this deal. But anyway, let's wait and see what's going to happen. Now, Arsenal have also communicated their intention to bid for Julian Timber to Ajax. This has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano as well. So in the next few hours, Arsenal will lodge their bid for Julian Timber. But what is also holding this deal back is the Declan Rice deal. And that's why I'm really gutted. I'm really frustrated and tired of this deal. It is blocking our potential moves. It is blocking the deals that we could have done earlier and quicker. The Julian Timber one is such an easy deal. All Arsenal have got to do is to agree a price with Ajax, which is not actually very, very hard. The evaluation and evaluation is not that different. So, but because we have the Declan Rice still on our hands, because we don't know how much West Ham are going to accept up front, because we do not know how much we are going to spend on the player in terms of total packages, we have to put everything at a standstill until this deal either succeeds or fails. It's bad for me. It's absolutely bad, right? Because look, it's better and it's more healthy for you to go and do other deals, as you maybe wait for West Ham. I envy Newcastle, because with Newcastle they have decided to stay away from the drama of Rice. Of course they do have their own drama in James Maddison, Tottenham pushing and Newcastle pulling. But what they've done there is they know that James Maddison won't cost more than £45 million. Like, quit. Maybe the whole package will be around £50 million. So they've gone and signed Sandro Tonali, a player without competition, and they will go and sign other players as James Maddison and Leicester City make up their mind. But with Arsenal, because our transfer priority is such an expensive player, because it's such an expensive asset to acquire, you have to reserve all your resources to that one deal before you can get the remains and spread it over the rest of the deals. It is risky. It is absolutely risky, because if Rice does not sign and Caicedo goes to Chelsea and Romeo Lavia ends up somewhere else because we are waiting for Declan Rice, we are doomed. We are absolutely doomed. We might go for, I don't know, Rice is plan A, Caicedo is plan B, Lavia is plan C. So we might go for our fourth option or fifth option. So for me, Arsenal, what Arsenal should do at the moment, we should get money, 40 million euros, pounds, agree a deal with Ajax for Julian Timber. Those are two signings down. And after that, tell West Ham, this is how much we're offering. Take it or leave it. So that's what we've done. But I think we should do the Julian Timber deal early next week. Anyway, Arsenal have also communicated with Southampton that they are willing and they have intention to bid for Romeo Lavia. Now, it's the same thing I've been talking about, right? John Cross with the Mirror is saying that Arsenal have an intention to bid 40 million for Romeo Lavia. It's the same thing we're talking about here. Lavia 40 million, Julian Timber 40 million, that is 80 million. You can't spend 80 million, right, before sales, before signing your priority target. Like, there is no world where Arsenal and Edu are going to do that. So for me, this is what I think Arsenal should do. Now that we've given them the information that the bid that is incoming is going to be a take it or leave it, we should also issue an ultimatum. And everyone is going to say, but Cossy, WESTHAM are not even bothered. They are bothered. They want a bidding war, that is number one, but they also know that the only serious club that has come to their table and negotiated a deal for Declan Rice is Arsenal. No other club has confirmed, a serious bid on the table, 2 serious bids on the table other than Arsenal. So they will be concerned. We need to put up an ultimatum. If the manager wants to sign his players between the 14th of June and the 13th of July, that is ample time to get deals done, especially for crucial players like Havertz, like Timber, and Declan Rice or Moises Caicedo. Now, the rest of the other players, they can go. We can go and do those deals over the last 2 months. That is okay. But to be honest, I don't see a world where we sign Lavia before Rice. It's either the Rice deal refuses or Romeo Lavia doesn't sign, right? But why should we block Romeo Lavia's deal, well knowing that Partey is gonna leave and Lavia comes in to replace Partey? Lavia should come in, start his preseason, because the player loves Arsenal. The player would love to play for Arsenal. His entourage are open to joining Arsenal, and Southampton are willing to sell. If we can agree a deal, get it done. And we can, go on with this circus of Declan Rice. But anyway, let's wait and see what's going to come out of that spot.